No. Are you serious? You're kidding. Hey besties, it's Nat back again with another Animal Crossing speed build on my New England themed town core island of Nautilus. And today, as you can see, we're sitting at my playground, and if you look in the top right hand corner of the screen, you're gonna see some interesting things going on with the bridge and the road. Some things are not correct. So we're gonna fix that today. In fact, we are gonna fix this entire area, which includes the playground, the soccer field, Bob's convenience store slash gas station, and Maddie's ice cream shop. So we have a lot on our plate today, and woo boy, did this build take it out of me. Oh my god. Me sitting here when I filmed this little intro bit, she had no idea what was to come. But as much as this build took it out of me, I'm very proud of how it turned out. When the title is not a lie, I really did figure this area out, and I'm super excited to show it to you. So grab yourself a snack, grab yourself something to drink, and let's get right into it, besties. And we are starting off with some demolition with CJ behind Maddie's house. There's gonna be a lot more cuts than normal in this video, just because a lot of the things that I changed were just like really tiny adjustments of like moving things like this way or that way, or changing the colors of things at Harv's Island, which for me in real time takes 800 million years to do, but for you watching the video, it's just one cut. So there's gonna be a lot more cuts than normal. So if you see things changing in the background where you're like, oh, that thing was over there and now it's over there, don't worry. I tried my best to edit this in a way to include all of the most important stuff that you would need to see. Right now we're moving Maddie's house, which I don't regret moving Maddie's house. This was just moving it out of the way so that we could build the road that's supposed to be in this spot. As you can see, I cleared it out so we could get my road coming through from my old people neighborhood. I think it's really cute how my old people neighborhood and my kidcore neighborhood with Maddie and Bob are like right next to each other. I think that's really adorable. But yeah, we moved her house out of the way so we could continue the road. I initially put that bridge there by like calculating. That sounds so fancy and mathematic. By just like figuring out like where my road at the edge of my island was at, like what level it was at, and then I just connected them through because there was like this weird like curvy turny whatever thing happening over there that it was dumb. So I moved the bridge a while ago, and in my old people neighborhood video, which you can watch, I'll put it in the card. If you like neighborhoods, get into it because I've been building a lot of them recently. But we're extending the road from that neighborhood through this neighborhood and then editing all of the stuff in the neighborhood to fit. So we're going to move my playground slightly up and the soccer field slightly up, and then we're going to completely renovate Bob and Maddie's yards. And like I said before, oh, hold on. We'll get to that in a second. This behavior, besties, are you seeing this? First, I spotted Genji checking Coco out as she was hanging out in the town square, which is very sus. And then later on, wait for it, it's about to happen. She sits next to him. And I immediately pulled out my camera. I was like, we're getting this on film. I am still shocked at this behavior from them, honestly. Look at them waving at me as though they don't know they're doing something wrong. But luckily, later in the video, Coco and Marshall and Future are all hanging out together, and it's very cute. And I think that they finally figured out that Genji is the problem in this scenario, if you know what I mean. If you're not up to date on my villager drama, the main drama on my island is a love square between Genji, Marshall, Fuchsia, and Coco, and it updates from time to time based on their behavior while I'm building things. And I see a lot of them when I'm building like super long, tedious builds like this, where I'm like running around constantly and running into my villagers all the time. Speaking of running into my villagers, here I am hanging out with Daisy May and Bob and Maddie. They were enjoying being in the area while I was building, which was nice because it's like, this is for you. I'm doing this for you, and also for Bo, even though he doesn't live in this neighborhood. Honestly, every time I see Bo's house, like when I open the game and it's like shows a villager and it shows Bo sitting outside his house, I'm like, wow, slay. Like, it's one of my favorite builds that I've done, like Bo's house by the lake. I was talking about something and I got distracted. We're talking about my villager drama. We're talking about Maddie's house. Okay. I don't regret moving Maddie's house to the place where I moved it, and I'm happy with the general vibe of the area. But even though the title of this video is I figured out my kidcore neighborhood, that is true. I did figure it out. Did I figure out everything in the time span it took me to do the video? Possibly not. But the perfectionist in me had to say no and had to stop and finish the video, because this was gonna take me literally a million years to finish. I had 8 gigabytes of footage at the end of this, of just me building this. Like, why? This shouldn't be this hard. I already built, like, I know what their houses are gonna be. Half of this is just me moving things. Like, why was this so difficult? But yes, Maddie's house, the difficulty with Maddie's house is that the space that she has for her yard is similar in size to Coco's yard, which is very small. So I was struggling to fit all the items that I wanted to fit in there. So Maddie's house may move back to the spot that it's in right now, where it's like moved farther back to get out of the way of the road. And other than that, the only other thing about this build that I think that I would change or alter would be the fence towards resident services, but you're gonna see that way later. That's way later in the build. But yeah, those are the 2 things. Is Maddie's yard needs a slight adjustment, and you're gonna see once again much later when we actually get to Maddie's yard. Oh, and I need to fix the river, but that's gonna happen in another build. Oh yeah, I dug up a weed by accident, and I was so upset about it that I just quit the game and reloaded it so that the weed would still be there, because I like the fully grown weeds. I like the overgrown aesthetic of the weeds, especially in the playground area, and I really wish that we could control the weeds like we can in Happy Home Paradise. I know that's silly and like doesn't make sense, but like I wish we could, because it's so much easier to just control all of them individually instead of hoping that it'll grow the right way. Like, that's so irritating. But yeah, we're just shifting the playground up like 1 or 2 spaces, I think, just to give it a little bit more space. And I ended up adding 1 extra piece of playground equipment. I just needed to shift it because obviously there was that space that was made by moving the road up a couple of spaces as well. Bob's wearing his baby shirt. Oh, that's so cute. Anyways, I have a feeling that this is going to be a very chatty video, because a lot of this, like I said, is me just moving things 1 space to the left and then being upset with it and then thinking about it for a day and coming back to it later. So how are you? How is your day going? How is your week going? How is your weekend going? If you're watching this in the future and it's not the weekend, how was your last weekend? I'm curious. I want to know. A lot of things happened this week. Once again, if you're watching in the future, this will be like a time capsule of the first week of October 2022. We got a new Pokemon trailer. That was exciting. We got the Mario movie trailer. I found out in my live stream chat the other day, playing Happy Home Paradise, doing a spooky build for Halloween, which I'll talk about Halloween in a minute, but I found out most of my chat was unaware that Chris Pratt was playing Mario, and I was the one who told all of them. So if you were in my chat when that happened, I am so sorry that I was the one to be the bearer of bad news. Though, to be fair, besties, if I'm gonna be honest, I was not looking forward to the Mario movie trailer. I considered streaming it, and then I found out that it's literally, the direct was just the trailer. I got confused because they were releasing a Pokemon trailer on the same day, and it's whatever. But those people who make those Minion movies, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of most of those movies. So I think they're kind of mid, especially for kids. I feel like kids deserve slightly better than what they have to offer the children, the youth. Oh, you're also going to see a lot of cuts of me popping balloons, because I try to cut those out, but I have a compulsion and I have to pop them. Like, I can't just let them float by. Eventually, it got to the point where I was so sick of this build that I did start ignoring the balloons, and you're going to see that later. But just so you know, if you don't see me pop a balloon, I probably popped it unless I say otherwise. But yeah, not a fan of those little Minion films. They're not my cup of tea. If I had a child, which I don't, because I myself feel like a child, I don't think I could be responsible for one. But if I was, I don't think I would go out of my way to show them a Minion movie. I know they make other movies that aren't Minions, but you know what I mean. But yeah, I wasn't super pumped that they were the ones making the Mario movie, and I like Mario a normal amount. Like, I'm not interested enough in Mario to begin with to really care. All of that being said, it was fine. Chris Pratt is fine. He's mostly doing his normal voice with a slight Brooklyn accent, I think. Really, you couldn't have done any better, bestie. I don't know, but that was his choice. And Jack Black is amazing as always, and Keegan-Michael Key as Toad, also amazing. But Jack Black, chef's kiss. Missed that guy. Bring him back more. He should be in more things. This is gonna be Jack Black's time. This is his era. I'm calling it now. gonna come back in a big way, and we're all gonna benefit greatly from that as a society and a culture. Here we are. I told you it was going to be a chatty video. Here we are, starting off Bob's gas station. I initially wanted Bob to have a gas station because he has like a convenience store, and where I grew up in Maine, which is where this island is based off of, there's a lot of stores like this that just sell everything because everything is so far away because it's so like rural that you just need a store that sells everything, and there's one every like 30 minutes and you'll see it. And that's what his inside of his house is like. I can put a link in the card to his interior build. It's one of my most popular videos, and I'm glad that it is because that build is a major slay. But yeah, we wanted to take the energy from the inside and bring it to the outside, so we're trying again with the gas station, and this time I think it really works. It looks like super like overgrown and like woodsy and out of the way, sort of like a gas station that you'd see in a rural area. So I think that works really well. But yeah, what else? Ooh, Pokemon. That's what I wanted to talk about while we figure out the layout of Bob's gas station. So they released a new trailer for Scarlet and Violet, and this will be interesting if you're watching this in the future and you've already played these games. But I'm really excited. The trailer was very exciting, and they've got some new Pokemon going on. For a giraffe, absolutely slaying. She's slaying, besties. Absolutely love her. Not as good as Wiglet, but Wiglet was a pretty high bar to reach, so wasn't expecting them to duplicate that. But I was excited about that. Very excited about the customization options. Very excited about the selfie mode. I am going to be so annoying with that. You're not going to see the end of it. I'm going to be posting so many pictures of me and my Pokemon. And very excited that they brought back Pokemon Camp, as well as like the washing your Pokemon from Gen 7. And most importantly, they added the Cooking Mama sandwich making minigame thing to... to the camping mechanic, which I think is very funny. I'm excited to make some little sandwiches for my Pokemon. But yeah, one thing that I have noticed though is that they have not shown the final evolutions of the starters yet, and that does concern me slightly, besties. I am not gonna lie. Ooh, here's something important. Here's an actual important thing about the build. As you can see, I was finally aligning the two parts of the road. You can see the part where I was trying to like line it up with on this side and then going to the other side. But unfortunately, the like white stripe lines that go in the middle of the road, they didn't line up properly. Like there wasn't the right amount of spaces. So in order to sort of like work my way around that, I use the manhole cover. Why is there a helicopter flying over my house? Anyways, I use the manhole cover to like readjust the spacing. So there's a pro tip for you, besties. If your road codes are anything like mine, I'm using Collins all season light road code. I'll have that linked in the description if you want to check it out. Collins, I mean, you probably know Collins codes, and if you don't, you're about to discover some very beautiful stuff. But yeah, I just thought I'd let you know what I was doing there because I got a little distracted talking about Pokemon. But yes, as I was saying, they have not revealed as of right now what the final evolutions of the starters look like, and that does worry me because I've kind of grown attached to one of them, and if the final Evo is not something that I like, then I am going to be very upset. That's what happened with me in Gen 7 with Grookey. I still love Grookey. Grookey is my baby boy. I literally got a Build-A-Bear of him that smells like strawberries, and I love it. But yeah, Rillaboom, I don't hate Rillaboom. But he's not my favorite. And my hope is that that the starters, the final Evos of these starters will they'll I don't know, they'll deliver. That's what I hope. I hope they deliver. Who do you think you're gonna go with, not knowing yet what they look like? Or maybe in the future, if you do know what they look like, who did you choose? I am leaning Fuecoco. I'm very attached to him. He is very cute. I love his he's kind of dopey and like silly, and he has like a big stupid mouth and tooth and whatever. I just think he's super cute. He's a cute little guy. And ooh, that reminds me as well. There is a Splatfest happening in November in Splatoon 3 where the choices are Pokemon themed. It's a Pokemon X Splatoon Splatfest, and you choose fire, water, or grass, like the 3 types of starters. And originally I was going to choose water, but because it's Gen 9 themed, and like the Splatfest shirts that you get in game, they have the Gen 9 starters on the back of them. So I might go fire for Fuecoco, my little guy, my little baby boy. Let me know which starter you are planning on picking in Scarlet and Violet if you're going to get the game. And also if you would pick that same team for Splatfest. I'm very curious. We also don't know which of the members of Deep Cut are going to be which team, so that'll be exciting to find out as well. But yeah, the gas station is starting to take shape as I'm rambling on. as I'm rambling, we have the vending machine that ends up staying, but the color changes, as well as these wheat fields. I know, besties, I know. I have a problem. Daisy May is so cute back there. I loved having her and also CJ, and then later Flick keeping me company while I was building. It was very nice. But we have the vending machines. We have these two gas pumps, which I've decided to use again because I haven't used them since the last time this actually was a gas station, which was it wasn't a year ago. It was maybe almost a year ago, perhaps. I don't know. It was a while ago, and my channel is actually coming up on its anniversary, and it's wild to see how far it's come in the past year. And I don't want to get corny in the middle of this video, so I'm just gonna say I appreciate all of you and all the support you've given me. There, done, period. No more corniness. I'll be corny later. Don't worry. If you want corniness, we can do that later, but not right now. Right now, we're building Bob's gas station, and I changed the colors of that. I changed it back to the turquoise color, I think, just because it's just nice, and it matches like his roof in his house. I painted his house to match the sign from Pocket Camp because I thought that it was appropriate, and I really want to use that sign really, really badly. But I struggled with where to put the sign throughout the build, and I ended up putting it pretty much where it is now, just like one space back. I also wanted to have like cars at the pump, so we ended up putting the broken down mini car and a scooter at the pumps, but it takes me a while to figure out the layout because once again, I was struggling. The hardest part of all of this was dealing with the build behind this, the mountain build, which honestly, the lighthouse build, very much a slay. I need to fix this half, the right side of it, so badly. That needs fixing like ASAP. But the left side of it, it looks good. Like, she looks good. She's slaying. I'll link that in the card too. Look at me go. I mean, okay, to be fair, this video, for its length, I'm gonna have a couple of links, okay? Give me that. At least let me have that. I think I deserve at least a little bit of self-promo after the 7 hours it took me to do this. That's my own fault though. It's my own fault for being slow. Also, I cut out an entire part where I messed with that stupid tree trying to do the tree glitch, which for some reason I can never get to work right. I've gotten it to work before for plenty of builds, but sometimes it just doesn't work and I don't know why, and that was very irritating. But like I said, we'll get back to her later. There are a couple of parts of my island that I need to zhuzh up again. This was one of them, and I was not originally intending to do all of it at once, which is why this build took so long to do. But I am pleased with how it came out, and I'm happy to move on to the next area, which will probably be fixing Fuchsia's yard and also maybe editing Maddie's yard in the ways that I described earlier, like with moving her house back a little bit. And once again, you're gonna see later on in the video when we actually decorate our yard how little space I had to work with, and why I would want to move that around. But for the most part, this like front half of my island is almost done. Like it's really nice being able to walk around in the bottom parts of my island and be like, wow, this is like a finished island. Look at me. And then I walk to the back and I'm like, oh, girl, you have to fix this. But you may have noticed, speaking of fixing things, speaking of chasing things, we're gonna get little shots and little like clips of me walking around by resident services, and my parking lot from one of my previous videos has changed already. And that's not because I didn't like the parking lot, but I just thought of a better way to do it. And that's my sort of like my problem with my island, is that I can never set things down. Like I can never let things go. I'm always like, oh, well, I could technically make this a little bit better. And sometimes it really does improve the build. Like, I'm really pleased with how my parking lot looks now. And I liked how it looked before, but I like it even better now that I've changed it. But at the same time, it's like, you have to stop. This was one of those things where I had to stop. Like I said earlier, I had to put the build down and I had to take a break and show you what I came up with. And once again, I think that it'll be pretty clear like what needs to change about Maddie's yard when we get to it. I keep talking about Maddie's yard. Maddie's yard is in like half an hour. Like, don't worry about Maddie's yard right now. Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm talking about. Wow, great confidence in my voiceover ability. But yeah, we're adding in more wheat fields as always, adding in more white picket fence as always. I'm very predictable at this point. But the gas station is finally starting to take shape. I'm gonna throw a bus stop down over here, and I moved the gas pumps so that's like one of them is you sort of pull up by the street, and then the other one is the one that's like on the side of the actual store, and that is where the broken down car is. And it's sort of like, oh, it pulled up here and Bob is fixing it. If you would trust Bob to fix your car, let me know in the comments if you would trust Bob to fix your car. Would you trust him to pump your gas? Do you live in a state where you have to have your gas pumped? I used to live in the tri-state area. When I was very little, I grew up in Connecticut, and like the tri-state between like Connecticut, New York, New Jersey. And I think it's New Jersey is the one where legally they have to pump your gas for you. So like imagine that. Imagine like you live in a state where the gas pump attendant has to pump your gas for you, and the attendant was Bob. Would you trust him? Or I guess also if he was a passenger and he just offered to pump your gas. I don't know. I don't know your life. Maybe you are driving around with Bob. I don't know your business. What am I saying? Oh my god. Anyways, let's pull things back a little bit. I think that this sort of connects to what I was talking about earlier. Oh, I was talking about Pokemon earlier. This actually does all connect. Everything is connected, besties. Just get into it, figure it out. But talking about this island and how I can never stop adjusting things or like moving things or changing them, I am planning on releasing a finished 1.0 version of Nautilus, which is this island, by the end of this year. That is my goal. I want to release a dream address that you can come visit. I want to do a tour video showing you guys around, and I'm very excited to do that. And the reason that I'm saying that is because I want to get a second Switch that I can use to do faster islands. Like this, I want to be my forever island. This is the island that I've had since the game came out. Most of these villagers I've had since 2020, and I am very attached to them, as you all know, so I'm not planning on changing them, and I just want to have an island where I can play the game and adjust things slowly. Like if I have an idea for a build that I really want to do and that I think would suit my island, then I'll change it, but for now I just want it to be an island where I can play and enjoy the festivals and the holidays and the bug and the fishing competitions and all of that stuff, and then have a second Switch where I do faster, more like stylized themed islands, like do like really fast, like I want to do a kidcore city, let's do it, and then I just do it, and hopefully it only takes me a couple of months to finish, but knowing me, we'll see how that goes. To be fair, I do need to figure out treasure islands if I'm going to start doing these quick islands, because I need all the help I can get, but we'll get there when we get there. All that to say that I think I have decided that I want to get the OLED Switch to do this. I was going back and forth on whether or not I wanted to get a modded Switch so I could do modded islands, but I also, as like a practical thing, kind of just want to get the OLED Switch. So I think that is what I'm going to do, and I also think I'm going to try and get my hands on the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet OLED Switch because it's very gorgeous and stunning, and it would go really well with my Animal Crossing normal Nintendo Switch. So fingers crossed about that. If you see me doing a stream fundraising, that is what it is for, to get that, and also to get another copy of New Horizons and Nintendo Online, and I guess the DLC as well, so I can have like a complete package for everything that I need. Oh my god, Bob was doing yoga. I thought that was cute, and also I think it's cute how they have been hanging out so much in this area of my island as I've been working on it. We are finally getting to the more final version of Bob's gas station. I'm placing things down now, like the white drinks machine, and then I'm gonna move some stuff around back where the tire stack is. I also am moving Maddie's house into the middle of the street so that I can move it back to the place where I want it to go. It would be really nice if we could move buildings like just slightly in the same plot of land. I understand why, because it's like they set up that whole like thing. It's like we're building something here, but it is very annoying that they never added like a patch to fix that. Placing down Maddie's house was very difficult because for some reason my brain could not align it with where Bob's house was. But like I said, later you're gonna see the amount of yard space that she has is really minimal, and I thought that that would be fine because she runs a business, she owns a business. You wouldn't know what it's like to be passionate about something and own a business. Anyways, that's not even what she said. I thought that would be fine because there aren't that many objects that I want to put outside of Maddie's house, but it ended up not being fine, just like with Coco's house. So we'll get there when we get there. But yeah, I'm just switching that out for a tree. Maddie was running and being very cute as well. Shout out Maddie, love you, bestie. Oh yeah, yes, I was talking about the Switch and the new island. So yeah, that's gonna be coming very soon. I don't know if I want to start the new island before the year ends, if I'll get too distracted away from Nautilus or not, but we'll see. Once again, we'll get there when we get there. I am very excited about the theme. So far, no one has guessed it yet, but it is based off of a thing, like a TV show or a movie or a book, or it's based off of a specific thing, but the theme is also like broad enough that I think that even if you're not a fan of that thing, anyone could enjoy it and get something out of it. That was sort of the idea behind it. Like, I was really dead set on having that thing be my theme, but also having it be sort of like more broad than that, so it could appeal to more people who weren't familiar with that thing. Once again, really enjoy your guesses. Keep leaving them in the comments. I enjoy seeing what you guys think I'm gonna do. That's really been fun to figure out like what you think is on my mind or what you think that I'm up to. That's what you think I'm up to? That sounds so devious. Like, what am I up to? I don't know. I'm just vibing. Actually, you know what I'm up to? You know what I'm up to? While I was working on this build, because as I mentioned before, it was a lot. It was a lot. I kept adjusting tiny things. Here I am moving this one space back so I have more room to put the gas pumps because there was not enough room for those gas pumps. Or the tree. The tree was doing too much, but I wanted to keep it, so that's why we're moving everything back. But you know what I did? I took myself to Pride. It's Pride this weekend in Atlanta because apparently there's a historical event that makes it so that October is good as Pride, and also because June in Atlanta is extremely hot, and I can totally understand why October is a better time to have Pride activities outdoors. But I went to Pride. Originally, I was going to go with someone else, but then they got sick, so I wasn't able to go with them. So I wasn't sure if I wanted to go. But you know, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna get out of my stupid little desk chair, and I'm gonna go to the park, and I'm gonna go to Trader Joe's, and I'm getting a little sandwich, and I'm gonna sit and enjoy the presence of other gay people. And it was very refreshing and wonderful. I walked around, we did a little, like, there was like a bi Pride march that I did. That was really fun. I got a flag. You might have saw on my Instagram story. I posted a picture of me holding the flag, and it was a good time. It was very rejuvenating and refreshing. And then afterwards, I got bubble tea, and then I went to Trader Joe's again, and I got dinner. You know what is alarming to me? Because of inflation and the economy, because of all of that, Publix is now more expensive than Trader Joe's. You can get like a whole lunch at Trader Joe's for $7. You can get a sandwich and a salad. You can get a drink. You can get like chips or like some dried fruit, all for $7. And then at Publix, pub subs and salads start at $7. Like, what's that about? Talk about, that's a crime. That's a crime. Publix, no longer my friend. Trader Joe's is my best friend. But yeah, that's what I did this weekend. Like I said before, if you want to be up to date on every time I leave my house, which is truly never, but just in case, you could follow me on Instagram. Also, I'll tell you when I'm going live or when I post a new video. Or, you know, you could also subscribe or hit the bell. Those things will also do that. But yeah, there's another successful plug, another plug in the bag. Look at me go. A girl bossing all over the place today. We are finally moving on to this other side of the street. We are mostly done with Bob's gas station. I'm gonna change a couple of things here and there. Like I said, a lot of tweaks in this video, but for now, it's pretty much finished. I really like the pine trees in the corner, the cedar trees. I'm sorry, Animal Crossing. They're pine trees. That's just the way they are to me in my mind. But I like the trees in the corner. I feel like they really add the Maine vibes. Like, they add the rural Maine vibes that I needed this build to have, and I really appreciate that. I was scared of adding too many trees because I had an issue earlier when I was building where I realized that the neighborhood directly below this, my like cool kid neighborhood, that neighborhood had too many trees, and that was my issue with it. And this neighborhood didn't have enough trees. So, you know, you learn new things every day. Sometimes you're afraid of putting too many trees, and other times you don't put enough. And this was one of those times. But then I did add more trees, and it was better. But yes, as I was saying, I'm working on this road area. Are we about to get to the bridge incident? My bridge era, if you will. Oh, we're adjusting the park. The helicopter is back, and it is literally flying over my house, like the fruit fly that was in my room the other night. And it's very irritating, so you need to go away. But yeah, I think this is about, ooh, is this when the bridge incident happens? I think this is when the bridge incident happens. Okay, besties. Here I am. Finishing off the road leading to resident services, hanging out with Flick. As you can see, I've only done the dirt on part of the road, underneath part of the road. That is because of the way that custom design paths conform to in-game paths. As you can see, Genji has dirt in his yard, and I wanted there to be a distinction between the yard and the road by using the grass, not the dirt. So I left the dirt out, and I only put it underneath the tiles in the middle and on the side, and then the opaque tiles, they'll conform to whatever in-game paths underneath them, which is why why I needed that little space in between, because otherwise it would have been just dirt all around, and that's not what I wanted. So that's a little trick for you to create some separation. I'm going to do it again later after the bridge incident, which is going to happen, I think, soon. Right now, I guess I'm moving my playground up slightly. My playground build is really cute. I'm a big fan of my playground build. It's one of my favorite builds that I've done. Every time I walk past it, I'm like, oh, this is so adorable. But yeah, that's why I call it my kidcore neighborhood, because I just think that it's super cute, and I love the custom designs in here with the hopscotch. I love the little brick path leading up towards it. I think that this looked good enough that I was like, okay, I just want to transfer this up like one space. So that's pretty much what I did. I'm just moving these fences as well. I added a couple more fences. I also added, I think, a slide because I had extra room in the park after I was done rebuilding it. But this build pretty much stays the same for the most part, and it's cute as ever. I love it. I was having so much trouble with placing those paths down the entire time I was building, not just now, but later on too. Look at me. Oh Lord, what am I doing? Oh, and now we're about to start the bridge incident. Okay, besties. So as you can see, there's a river on the left and there's a river on the right. Technically, actually, no, they're not connected. They're almost connected, but I wanted them to be connected through here, and I wanted to have a bridge going across this in the up down direction, north and south. I wanted to have a bridge going up towards the gas station. I thought that would be cute. I thought it would add a little more personality to this like really long strip of road. And I was trying to have it connect to the other river by having like a little stream going through the playground. It did not work. Bad idea. Abort mission. But here we are trying to place down the bridge. Now, I took 160,000 bell L in this video. As you can see, I placed that bridge down. Kiki showed up and it was very cute, but I placed that bridge down and accidentally demolished that tree, which was very silly of me. And then I went to go pay for this bridge again after I had quit my game to get rid of my mistake, and I didn't have enough money, so I had to go back to the bank and get more because I forgot how much the stupid wooden bridge costs. And then I load in the game the next day, and we're gonna come down and see the bridge. Do you see that? Do you see the misalignment on that bridge is not cute, and I tried to cover it up with the red car, but it was just so goofy looking, and I was like, I messed up. I've screwed up. I was too excited about my bridge, and it occurred to me as I was demolishing it, I was like, I don't think that the bridge gets any wider. I think that the bridge is always that width, so it was never gonna work. It was never gonna work out, and I think I even tried to like demolish this bridge and then move the water over and build a different bridge, but it was just misplaced in the opposite direction. So like, what was I doing? What was I thinking? Anyways, after my bridge mistake, which you're gonna enjoy for a few more minutes because I didn't time travel until a little bit later, I'm just adjusting the soccer field area, moving some things around in there. I'm gonna come back and adjust it fully, I think, after a couple of days of time traveling. I time traveled like a good week and a half to make this video, every single day stopping. Like it was a lot. It was a lot. I also added some more fences in the playground to make it a little bit, a little bit safer, have a little bit of coverage in between the playground and the river. And then I adjusted some pathing over here, and I think we're going to cut to a very cute villager conversation between Fuchsia and Maddie in a second. I feel like I haven't seen Fuchsia. Like, I feel like I haven't seen her around. Like, she's been around, but like there's so much going on between Coco, Marshall, and Genji, and then Fuchsia is just like not there, and I feel bad for her because it's like Coco needs to be doing better. Like, Coco is a cool girl, but is she a cool girlfriend? That's the question, besties. Oh yeah, and I also planted a tree there because I realized that I ran out of stunted normal trees. I accidentally demolished one. Okay, here's that adorable conversation. So essentially, Maddie stayed up way too late playing video games and is absolutely wired. She's on like 7 cups of coffee, but she was absolutely slaying, and that inspired Fuchsia to take Maddie's catchphrase because of how hard she was slaying. So now Fuchsia also says hunty, which I think is very adorable. And I also think it's cute how they're kind of matching. Like Maddie, it's so cute how she fell asleep mid-conversation. Oh, she passed away. That's so terrible. But I think it was cute how Maddie was wearing that adorable little sailor shirt, and it kind of matched Fuchsia's whole vibe, her whole thing. This is actually going to reveal how early I woke up to finish this video on time. Look at me trying to fool around with the bridge again. What was I thinking? What was wrong with me? But I watched the Splatoon and DJ KK concert live in Japan at 5 in the morning, and it was fantastic. DJ KK absolutely slayed. He's a good DJ. Like, he had some crazy transitions. And also Fuchsia was there. She was there during KK Disco, which is one of his best songs, if not his best. Honestly. Okay, favorite KK song? I want to know now. Tell me. Is it KK Disco? And if it's not, please explain why. Actually, I don't even know if KK Disco is my favorite KK song. I think it's my favorite song as like a real song. Like, if you played that for me in real life, I'd be like, oh, okay. But I don't know. That's actually a much harder question than I thought. Favorite versus best. I still think Disco is the best, but I don't know if it's my favorite, if that makes sense. I don't know. I'm doing the road now. I'm doing that same trick. I left the grass part so that if I put down the road code on top of it, there would be a little bit of a division with the grass in between the road and the dirt in the park, if that makes sense. I don't know how to describe this in words. Like, you're gonna see it in a second when I place it down. I'm putting down the park sign. That moved around a ton. I also got this adorable elephant slide, which I initially tried to fit in the original version of this build, but it just didn't fit. But now that we have a bigger park, I can fit elephant slide, and I think that's pretty great. I wanted to have the fence wrapping around, and I didn't want to have the sidewalk like underneath the fence because I thought that looked weird. So we moved that around as well. Moving this. See, once again, I'm just moving things. I'm just moving things constantly. Putting down some more custom designs. I wanted the space to not feel too cluttered, but at the same time, I wanted it to feel full in like the right spots. Like, I wanted everything to feel balanced. That's my issue, I think, when I'm building things, why it takes me so long, is that I'm like, ooh, well, I put all this stuff on one side, so I need to balance it out with stuff on the other side. And I don't like symmetry, but I still need it to be balanced, you know? But that was my struggle. And I feel like in this instance, I did conquer my struggle. So, you know, hats off to me, besties. I think I did a pretty good job. Oh, here we are adjusting the fence. Finally working on the soccer field. Oh, and we're about to have that adorable little scene with Coco, not Genji. Coco, Marshall, and Fuchsia hanging out together in the town square. They had the zoomies and they all had the little cattails in their hands. It was so cute, and they were doing it for so long too. I just sort of sat with them and hung out because I was getting sick of the build, besties. But I thought, when I saw that, you know what? This is a sign of healing, okay? The three of them have come together and they have identified that Genji is the problem. Genji is the problem. Genji is the one initiating things. Genji is the one eyeing up Coco in the town square. They should all be friends and they should ditch Genji. But actually, maybe they shouldn't do that because that would be really sad for Genji and Marshall. But still, Genji's the problem. I'm glad they finally figured that out and that they can be friends, because I feel like Marshall and Fuchsia would be really good friends. Like, I don't know. I feel like Fuchsia keeps Marshall in check in a way that he really needs. But yeah, working on the soccer field. That whole villager drama, it encompasses so much of my island and so much of me talking about it that I feel like it's too much. But at the same time, like, I'm so attached to my villagers. It's like, oh, this is like real drama to me. Like, these are the besties, and like I'm curious of what's going on in their little lives, what's going on in their tiny little heads. But as you can see, I switched out the brick fence for the white wooden fence. I keep calling it the picket fence in my mind, but the white picket fence is a different fence. But I switched it out to match the other fences on my island, but I'm kind of thinking of changing it back to the brick. Oh, here they are zooming around again. And Pecan was there. Pecan and Marshall are besties. So that was the girls hanging out. That was the squad right there. Oh my God, besties. We'll talk about fences again in a minute, but we are about to cut to the next day when I had a villager in my campsite. And you would not believe who showed up in my campsite. No. Are you serious? You're kidding. Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. And yes, that was a live reaction. And yes, I took a picture with her because of course I did. I felt like, honestly, after all that I've been through with this build, both the stress of actually putting everything together and constantly changing things and shifting them around, on top of all of the villager drama that was happening in the background, and just like the general fatigue of it all, having her come to my campsite, I was like, oh my god, I deserve this. Like, obviously, as I said before, I'm very attached to all of my villagers and I'm not moving any of them out, so I did not move her in, but I felt like it was a sign. I was like, you're slaying, continue to slay, and that's what I did, and we've moved on to Maddie's house. As you can see, I'm struggling to fit the objects that I want to fit in this tiny, tiny space similar to Coco's yard. I really wanted to fit the ice cream lamp and the ice cream freezer, but I'm not 100% sure if I like where they ended up, so I might end up moving her house back a couple of spaces to where it was earlier, so I had a little bit more room. And I put the bus stop down there, I put these crates down there. With the soccer field, I was torn between having the white fence to like make it cohesive with the rest of my island, or having the brick fence because it matches resident services, and also because it's opaque and it sort of blocks the view of the soccer nets, which are like really big and they're kind of distracting to look at. So that's my conundrum with those two spaces, and that's why those might change. But other than that, you know, the build, she's coming together. We're almost at the end, actually. I think after I place a couple more items down, I switched out the ice cream cone to the pink one to throw in some more fun colors. That's one of my favorite parts of this neighborhood, of this little kidcore experience on my normie town core island, is having the little pops of like bright colors that I wouldn't use on the rest of my island, even though, you know, we still have like the blues and the oranges and the other like nautical colors. Now we're working on the park on the opposite side of the street. This used to be Bob's little fishing area, and it sort of evolved into this park later on in the history of my island. This is about the end of the build. I think that I'm gonna time travel one more day to get that stupid tree grown, and then I stunted it by placing it in the middle of the street. And then I placed down this wooden sign, and then mercifully I was done with the build. And 40 minutes later, you're done with this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it too. As much as it was painful and it took me forever, finally figuring it out was very satisfying, and I really like how it turned out. If you like how it turned out, make sure to like the video and leave a comment letting me know. If you really liked this video, you can subscribe and hit the bell to be notified every time that I post or go live. You can also follow me on Instagram or join my Discord, both linked in the description. You know what else is linked in the description? A link to submit your Happy Home Paradise builds to be toured live on stream on October 15th. I am doing another subscriber build tour stream. I'm so excited. This one is Halloween themed, so I want to see your best scary spooky builds, besties. I've also been doing Halloween themed building streams where we play Happy Home Paradise and build something spooky scary together. I did one last week that was really fun, and I think I'm gonna do another one this coming Wednesday after my Wednesday video goes up. I normally upload Animal Crossing content here twice a week on Wednesdays and Saturdays, so be on the lookout. Remember, subscribe, hit the bell, be notified every time I post or go live, and I hope to see you all on Wednesday for another video and a live stream. Bye, besties.